Coaches, what's going on? It's Coach Ian Tatum here, back with another Tatum series clinic video. And today I'm here with a very special guest, PJ Wilson from Texas. Before we get into that, guys, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel and rate and review us on Spotify. We're growing every day, and I really appreciate all the support. But next, I want to talk about a couple of our partners. Coaching Share is your one-stop shop for all coaching resources all in one place by local coaches. You can go ahead and give them a try. It would be absolutely awesome. And then First Down Playbook, we do all of our online diagrams through them. They're really gracious to let us use their platform. So please go ahead and check them out. And then Dome Hatwear, wearing one of the hats, Block Somebody Football Company. I love all the hats that they do, and they support us all the time. So make sure you go on Twitter and find Dome Hatwear and go and order yourself a hat and use promo code Tatum. Get you 10% off. Our guest today is Coach PJ Wilson. He's the offensive coordinator at Thomas Randall High School in Richmond, Texas. He's going to talk about tempo and RPO offense, and Coach has been coaching for 25 years. Coach, how you doing?
I'm awesome, man. I'm awesome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good, man. Can't complain. So before we get into any clinic and stuff like that, Coach, we're going to do a little bit of a get to know you. Talk to us like where you're from, how you came up, and then how did you get it ultimately into coaching?
Okay. Yeah, I'm originally from Cincinnati. Been in Houston since '96. Transferred down to Texas Southern University. Finished out at Texas Southern University. Went into corporate America for a little while, and as we walk away from football, sometimes we kind of get that itch. We still need that competitive edge. So got back into coaching. Started coaching as an adjunct coach at the public school at the time in Houston. We could have adjunct coaches pretty much at the public school. So started there and then went the private school route because I still worked in corporate for a while. So I work in corporate, go to private school, coach in the afternoons and everything like that. Actually played quarterback in high school, played DB in college, and then began as a defensive coordinator actually. Started was a defensive coordinator for 7 years. And I was on the dark side, stopping guys like you and coming up with ways to keep tempo, keep football running backs out the end zone, and use that. Always, new offense, obviously from playing quarterback. My son was coming up; he was a quarterback, and so at that time I moved over to the offensive side of the ball and started to do things on the offensive side of the ball and started to coordinate and work the positions and coach the quarterback position, obviously. Moved from private school into public school, got certified and started teaching, and started just moving up the ranks pretty much, had some good programs, part of some good programs here in Houston, both private and public pretty much. Then when I became an offensive coordinator, just kind of ran from there. Started to kind of, the RPO thing started to pretty come up through Gus Malzahn, and you see all these guys trying to implement it, but they was implemented as in plays, right? It'll be a play here and there, sort of like teams who are I formation and they'll throw an option in every now and then, right? And so I kind of came up with a way like, why wouldn't RPO be your offense pretty much, right? Like just use RPO totally as an offense, and just kind of merged into that, mixed it in with the downfield passing game and just kind of loved it. I mean, it gives us an opportunity to have an answer every time the ball snaps pretty much, right? But yeah, so coaching 20 years, defense coordinator, offensive coordinator, position coach, head coach, just been able to be in all parts of the game pretty much on every level. Coached at Texas Southern University for a year and had an opportunity to coach on the college level. And that helped out a lot coming back down to the high school level. Just give me a new perspective on, how to get along and treat the athlete, right? It's just not about X and O's. We always say it's about Jimmy and Joe's, but, how do you really connect to those Jimmy and Joe's pretty much, right? Had an opportunity to run a company called Pure Sports, where we did a Pure Football Academy. We trained athletes from high school, helped them get scholarships into college. Then some of those guys had opportunity to go pro. So we had opportunity to train some of those guys as they went pro, made pros. And when you train pro athletes, after they go be a pro for a year and they come back, they really know their body, right? So you really learn how to train not full speed, but efficient, right, to get work done. So you take that back to the high school level, and usually high school coaches are 100% full speed, run through a wall, right? And it's not really that, pretty much, right? It's slowly move your body into places where it feels comfortable, where you can be the quickest, where you can adjust the best, and then where you know yourself. And then once these kids start knowing themselves, now you can start pushing them to a wall, pretty much. And that's kind of how we install offense and how we play offense, pretty much, kind of the same way. So that's helped out and helped me become the coach I am today.
Gotcha. Love that. So obviously everybody knows Texas is that's where it's at, right?
Yeah.
Football is king, right?
Yep.
It's a religion. Talk to us a little bit about like coach. What is like coaching in Texas like? So I know the realignment's going on, and we see us over here in North Carolina. We see videos of ballrooms of coaches all around. Like what is it like being in Texas?
Man, let's see. You said you're in North Carolina, right? So what was the school Chris Leak went to out there?
Independence.
Right. So when Independence was in their heyday, when Mallard Creek was in their heyday, was that South Fort where
the Dutch Fort,
where Jadeveon Clowney went to?
Oh, so, South Point.
South Point. Right. Yeah. So if you look at whoever the 4 best teams are in North Carolina, and you multiply that times 100, just those 4 best teams times 100, that's Texas football pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And then you would still have to multiply that probably times another 10, simply because of, the type of athletes that we have down here, the type of resources that the parents have down here, right? To get their kids training and get their kids the things that they need to be really good athletes when they walk in a building, pretty much. And then really the coaching too, right? Like the coaching is like hands down top notch, right? Like it's high school coaches that either have been on the college level for an extended period of time and then they're down on the high school level, or there's guys that should be at the college level but love being at the high school level simply. I mean, the pay is good, right? So I mean, the football here is just crazy, and it's everywhere. Like, you hear 6A, 5A, 4A, 3. It doesn't matter down here, right? Like half the 4A teams in Texas could beat anybody in the nation, pretty much. Could probably beat some of the 6A teams. Like, that classification obviously is just because of the amount of students you have in your school. But just because you have 4,000 students don't mean you have, 200 good athletes or 100 good athletes or whatnot, So, and then just because you have 800 students in your school don't mean you don't have 60 good athletes, pretty much, right? Yeah. So, I remember when I was coming up at the private school, and our private school plays different than public school down here as far as championships, but we scheduled all the top classification public schools to play the first 3-4 games of the season, right? And we used to run through them, right? And we was a private school, and we didn't have the biggest kids, but we had some really good athletes. So, Texas football is king. The coaching is king. It keeps us on our toes, right? You have to really just come with your A game every single week, and it just makes everybody better, and it makes the product better, pretty much.
No doubt. Well, Coach, talk us a little bit about who's some mentors that you've had kind of along this journey, right? Give them some shout out. I love mentors. I have several, and I love them to death. So talk about some people where you get influences from and who you look up to.
Yeah, well, on a personal level, like people I can reach out to and talk to, it's a guy named Dennis Brantley down here, who was a head coach at Elkins High School for a long period of time in the Fort Bend, Missouri City, Texas area, right outside of Houston. And he actually coached me in 8th grade. And then I went on and had my career and got back. And then we connected again when I got out of college, pretty much. And he's a really good guy. He went to Texas Southern. He's a track runner. Went to Olympics, 400-meter runner, and really accomplished guy. But he was really one of those guys where just as a man, kind of teaching me and making me keep in the forefront, treating young men to grow young men to become, right? Football is always a vehicle. Sports and athletics is always a vehicle for us and to get to these young men's lives. And then it's just how we use it, pretty much. And that's how we get the best out of them. It's not the best 40 time. It's not the best 100 time. it's the best character of the kid that we can get out, which shows on the football field later on, pretty much, right? And so Dennis Brantley, my current head coach, Brian Randall, was another mentor. We had coached together before at a previous school. I had left and gone off to some other schools to coach, and we had always been able to talk about the game. He's been a head coach for a long time, probably 17 years now, and he's really knowledgeable about being a head coach, working with different people, crossing the lines pretty much, making sure you maintain all relationships and increase your network pretty much, right? Football-wise, it's really just been coaches that you come in contact with over the years, pretty much. So back in the days when we can coach college camps, they used to pay us to come down to coach college camps. Larry Porter, who was at LSU, a running back coach, went on to be a head coach at Memphis, and I think it was in North Carolina last year. But Larry Porter was always huge, and being able to talk and bounce ideas out to him. Stan Drayton was a head coach at Temple last couple of years. He was a running back coach at Ohio State, Texas. Now he's a running back coach at South Carolina now. So real knowledgeable about the game of football. And once again, just correlating football with life. And then being able to put some of the things together as far as when I start talking about run game and need some expertise on run game and how to fit some of the wild things I come up with in my head on paper and make it make sense pretty much, you know. And so those are some of the guys that, you know, influenced me or our mentors, and then influences. Gus Malzahn was always a big influence on me offensively. From day one of watching him at Shiloh and moving up to Arkansas, right? And then watching how his offense from high school transitioned to Arkansas and how he moved from his offense moving to the Wild Hog or whatever they called it back then, pretty much, right? And then transitioned into Auburn, and then that run that he had with Auburn, pretty much with taking a defensive back and making him a quarterback and making it to the national championship. You know, tempo, 3 or 4 run pictures, you know, a couple pass game added to it, and you just keep them off balance pretty much, right? And then Chip Kelly, when he was an offensive coordinator, he recruited Houston a lot as an offensive coordinator. So we got a chance to meet him and talk to him a lot about offense. And he was doing some interesting things when he was at New Hampshire before he got to Oregon. And so then when he got to Oregon, did some really good things, understood the value of coming to Houston and getting some really good athletes and some speed out there pretty much. And just talking to him and how innovative he was on some of the things with inside zone, right? And watching him manipulate defenses with 2 plays in one, pretty much, not necessarily RPOs at the time, but just giving options to guys to get in space and keeping defenders out the fit, right? He was really good in that. And then Urban Meyer was also very influential at what he did from Bowling Green to Utah, and then switched up from Alex Smith at Utah going to Florida and having Tebow and Percy and making that offense look really good. And he was really my tight zone mentor, right? Just really learning tight zone from him and understanding the benefits of it, and then understanding how to use Jimmy and Joe's through it all pretty much, right? So those are some guys that still influence me to this day.
Yeah. So on the thought process of Jimmy's and Joe's, and I know in Texas everybody's good for the most part, but so let's say town is even, or maybe you're going against some better guys. What are some of those intangible things that you think helps you win, right? Wins in the margins because everything's equal. Like you got to find a way to win, right? What do you think are some of those things?
Those things, toughness.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny, we said it this year. We have a district opponent that we play, and then you make it so far in the playoffs, you end up playing that same district opponent again if they make it, pretty much, right? So you got to see them twice. Yeah. And like you said, talent for talent, man for man, probably better than us, maybe. But I think the thing that separated us was being tough. Like we believe in being a really, really mentally and physically tough football team, right? Mm-hmm. Not just physical, but just tough, being able to hit the ground and get back up, being able to see a scoreboard not be to your advantage and respond and not care. Being able to teach your team to play for one another regardless of what's going on in a football game. Adversity, you overcome that adversity by being extremely tough, by extremely mentally tough, physically tough. And when you look at our program at Randall, that's the one thing that we have. We coach really, really hard. We coach really, really, really tough, and we don't allow you to be nothing but a tough kid, pretty much, right? Because in life, that's what, hey man, when things start happening in life, you better have some toughness about you and some resolve for you to, take that hit on the chin, get up, and keep it moving, pretty much, So that, right? Organization, being organized. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm a firm believer in being extremely strategically organized, right? Having a plan, understanding where we should be at this point in the season, understanding where we should be in that point in the season, and allowing the kids to have ownership of that plan. It shouldn't be we just pop it out to them on week 3 and they like, oh, okay, this happened. No, like they should know, because if they feel like they're not there at that point in time, they should be able to rev it up for us, right?
Yeah.
And that increases self-motivation, right? We believe that we should be able to throw a ball on a football field, and our team should be able to go through the first 5 periods of practice without a coach being out there, mm-hmm. right? With the intensity that if a coach was out there. And if we do that one day and they don't do it, then we failed as coaches. That means we have to go back and be like, all right, where do we fail these kids? Because that should be the hunger, that should be the grit, that should be the grind, and that should be the toughness that we want. And then the ability to speak to coaches and coach coaches up, so they're coaching kids on the same level as you coaching whatever position you're coaching. That's a separator as well, because when a football game happens, regardless of who calls plays, every coach that was in practice is a part of that game, right? Mm-hmm. And so everybody should have an answer that's along the same lines and or benefiting the team for us to be successful in that game, pretty much, right? So shouldn't everybody just look at me as a play caller when stuff hits the fan and be like, oh, what are we going to do now? No, I should be able to look at my wide receiver coach and be like, hey, what route concept is best against this defense? I should be able to look at my offensive line coach and be like, hey, this run picture ain't working today. What's the next run picture we got that's going to help us be successful, pretty much, right? And so once you have a staff that works on that accord that's ego-free, now you got something. You got a tough team. You got an ego-free coaching staff. You organize, and you're pretty much systematically ready to go, and you got ownership and buy-in from the kids, pretty much. And that's what separates us. Our program is 31-1 the last 2 years, right? A state championship last year. We lost in the state game this year, and we was on the other side of that. The team we played for the state championship, South Oak Cliff, just as talented as us. But they was tougher than us in that game. that game came down to, we came to play a great football game, and they came to have a knife fight or something, right? Yeah. And they was just a tad bit tougher than us. But so, you understand that that's the margin of victory in this state is who's going to be the toughest that game, and then you go from there, pretty much.
I love it, man. So let's talk about you on a game day. Okay, I love asking this question. So, are you the focused, like calm, cool, collected, like let's figure it out, or are you the energy drink, wired, let's get them going? Which one are you?
Man, I'm the calm guy, man. I'm the logical, the thinker, right? Yeah. The intellectual brutality at this point, right? Like, I'm extremely, extremely intense. Yeah. But I'm focused, right? Because my thing is, especially being a quarterback coach as well, everybody has to see me calm, right? We have a good mix of rah-rah guys on the staff. Like my 2 wide receivers, they drink the bang before the game, and they get the going pretty much, right? My 2 wide receiver coaches, but in my offensive line coach, they drink their little bang and they get the going. And I'm the calm in the storm, right? Like whatever's going on in the game, I'm the calm in the storm. Intense during the game, competitive, of course, but I'm the calm in the storm. Before the game, I walk the field, got my music on. I'm probably listening to some type of Jay-Z, get my head right and walk in the field. And then I actually go down and take a 15-minute nap before we got to go out on the field, pretty much. And then we go on the field and warm up. And and come back, change clothes, and get back on the field ready to go. And as soon as that national anthem is done, it's a streamlined focus and ready to go. And I'm intense, like I said, but for the most part, I'm calm. And you know, we have some moments in games where kids will look at you with deer in headlights, and if you going crazy and they going crazy, nobody's gonna get nothing accomplished pretty much, you know. So that's my pregame, man. I'm Jay-Z'd up, calm, focused, and now I'm ready to go.
I hear you. Well, Coach, I love that conversation. I appreciate you getting to learn a little bit about you and what y'all doing at Thomas Randall. Coach, you want to go ahead and share your screen? We'll hop into the clinic. Again, Coach is going to talk about tempo and RPOs, and like he said, they were the state runner up, man, but they won it the year previous. So Coach is doing some great stuff. While Coach is bringing that up, make sure everybody goes and like, comment, and subscribe, and rate and review us on Spotify. Appreciate Coach. All right, go. You're on there, Coach. I'm gonna back out, and you got it.
All right. So talking about Randall offense, talking about building an up-tempo system, RPO-driven offense. We are a fast-paced, up-tempo team. Everything we do, every run game that we have has an RPO with it pretty much. So we're going to have an answer every time the ball snaps. We're going to stimulus and response teams pretty much, find a guy to pick on, make the box light for our guys pretty much, right? So growth mindset, these are the last 3 seasons we've had pretty much here at Thomas Randall, me being a part of the last season, was 11-2 in 2003, number 1 offense in the district, 16-0 in 2024, had 817 points, number 1 offense in the district. 2025, we was 15-1. We had 3,900 passing yards, 4,500 rushing yards, 8,500 total yards. We had 862 points, total points this year. We were 2nd in the nation according to Max Preps. All right, once again, number 1 offense in the district. And this was coming off a season where we had 48 seniors who graduated pretty much, right? So we was able to reload really fast and keep the train moving. Offensive mentality, we're relentless, we're fast, we're physical, and we have to finish. We have to finish, we have to finish, we have to finish. So we talked about earlier being the separator between teams, talent for talent, man for man, being relentless, being fast, being physical, being able to finish, and just really being tough. All right, our offensive 10 demandments, right? These are things we demand on offense. Pretty much every possession has to end with a kick. So either we punting or we kicking a field goal or we scoring a touchdown, kicking an extra point pretty much, right? We don't need any turnovers. Control the tempo of the game. No turnovers. We got to score points, be physical both in the run and pass game. Must be able to run the ball in all situations. Be a high efficiency passing team. Our quarterback was a 75% completion percentage this year. Be a great third down team. Be able to handle any type of blitz, which we usually handle it with an RPO. We don't block up everybody. We eliminate negative plays, and we get our playmakers the ball in space. All right, so just kind of a thing. We didn't have a number 1 receiver this year per se, but we talk about getting everybody the ball. We had 1 receiver, 57 catches, 1,000 yards. Another receiver, 47 catches, 700 yards. Another receiver, 47 catches, 700 yards. And then our tight end had 32 catches. So as you can see, we spread the ball around, and this is coming off of having the number 1 back in the nation who had 300 carries for 3,500 yards pretty much, right? 10-yard average, 11-yard average carry. So even though we got the number 1 back in the nation, everybody else on the team touched the football, which made us a vulnerable and a really good football team. Why tempo? We dictate the game flow and tempo, all right? We speed it up. We slow it down. We keep the defense off balance. We dictate the tempo. We force defense to be base and simple. I might run the same play 3 times in a row. Each one of our plays are 3 different plays. So defenses have to set up. I know exactly where your 3 technique is going to be. I know where your shades are going to be. I know where your 4 tight is going to be. I know where your outside linebacker is going to be on every single play. My quarterback knows it because within 15 seconds, we're running the play and we're right back up, ready on the next play. All right. Fatigues the defense, especially if you got 2-way players or if you got guys that you like to sub and make special packages. You can't do it against me pretty much. Maximize plays and creates explosives. I try to get to 75 plays a game. If I'm at 60, that might even be good. That means we don't have a lot of explosives, but that's our thing. We want to get the explosives. We want to get the defense misaligned, and then we want to create explosives by getting the ball in the ball player's hands pretty much. All right, so we practice tempo. So we have to practice tempo. We run. All right, we do a lot of running. All right, we take our team. We do a lot of running each and every day. We start each practice off with a fast 5. All right, when we're in scout team and past skelly periods, we work tempo. So on a Monday, we might slow it down a little bit just because it's installed. But Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going full speed, even in pass skelly 7-on-7, pretty much creating the tempo. All right. Coaches have to learn how to coach on the fly, and we have to use the film to make sure we do our corrections pretty much. So we'll have the drone out, we'll have the practice film. As soon as practice over, we got to get the guys in the room. We got to start making corrections pretty much. Our Tuesdays are good on good days. So our number one defense goes against our number one offense, but our number one defense is doing the opponent scout defense. So we just want to increase the tempo and make sure we're getting good reps. And then Wednesday, we do a full day of game situations pretty much, right? So we bring out the first down markers and the sticks and chains. We have guys acting like referees, and we go through a full game on Wednesday to give us that tempo feel, to give us as coaches calling plays with tempo, give our kids a feel of how that game is going to look. And so that helps tremendously in our tempo on Friday nights. All right, so our operations, we talk about tempo. I'm signaling from the sideline. The skilled players, they're looking to the sideline for the play pretty much. So as soon as the play is over, you got to find me on the sideline, and you need to be running to the formation pretty much. So you don't have time to look or go anywhere else. As soon as the play is over, if you're the one with the ball, you have to get the ball to the umpire. Everybody else is looking at me for the call. They're running to their alignment. The quarterback is getting to the center. The center already knows. We're running in practice that wherever the ball is tackled at, that's where the ball is going to be placed on the hash. So if the ball is tackled out of bounds on the right side, that ball is going to be on the right side, on the right hash, pretty much the center and his offensive line are going to that spot now. All right, the quarterback is following. He's looking at me for the play call. He's getting the play call. He's echoing the formation, and then he's getting the call, telling the call to the offensive line, and then he's going back to his spot 5 yards away from the center. And as he's backing up to his spot, he's looking over the defense to see where his key is, if it's an RPO, to see where his stimulus is, and see exactly what the defense is doing before he snapped the ball pretty much. All right, so he gets the call from the sideline. He tells it to the offensive line 3 times. He's backing up. He's taking inventory, taking the data, 1 high, 2 high. Where's the whole player? Where's the cover down? All right, snapping the ball. We're ready to go. All right, next play procedures. Once again, any ball carrier, as soon as they get the ball, as soon as they're tackled, that ball has to go to the umpire. That ball cannot be on the sideline. It can't be given to the ref on the sideline. It can't fall to the ground. You have to literally get up off the ground, running into the umpire that's spotting the ball, let him spot the ball while you're running to get to the play pretty much. Offensive line knows they lined up. Sometimes they're lined up before the ball gets spotted. They're waiting for the ball to get spotted, and then we're ready to go. All right. Then there's a 6-second rule, which is really about 4 seconds for us. You got to get the information, process the information, get lined up, and then get ready to play. All right. I have a clip in here where you'll see. All right. So this is a game. We're playing a district foe. They're the number 1 or 2 team in the district at the time. We're 1 or 2 at the time or whatnot. They get down on us. They get out on us fast. We're down 21-0. We end up coming back to win this game 49-42 pretty much. But these clips here show you kind of how we run at tempo, and it also shows you next play procedures. All right. So we got the ball here. We're lined up. Ball is snapped. We get a quick bubble out, get the energy started pretty much. All right. Now watch our receiver. He's running the ball in to the ump. Boom. Everybody's lined up. Everybody's getting the call. Everybody's lined up. We got the call. We're set, organized. Ball snap. We off to the next play. All right, running back's tackled. Watch what he does with the football. Ball goes right to the umpire. Eyes are here. All right, everybody's getting lined up. We're organized. Quarterback's communicating. We're still in rhythm. Get the snap off. All right, get another completion. Wide receiver even has time to celebrate a little bit, but watch where the ball goes. Ball goes to the umpire. All right, umpire kind of dropped it a little bit, slowed us down, but we're going. Everybody's getting the call. We're organized. Oh, get there. All right, defense is tired. Ball goes right up to the ump before the guy gets off the ground. Offensive line is there. Play call is in. All right, communicating the play call. Everybody's communicating, organized. Oh, hand the ball off, score a touchdown pretty much, right? That drive right there, we got to our tempo, got to our energy, and then now we're ready to go. As a tempo play caller, I think of play calling, and I think of starting tempo sort of like in basketball terms, where somebody shoots a shot, we get a rebound. If we're a fast break team, the most important thing that happens after the rebound is the outlet pass, right? So now once we teach how to do a correct outlet pass and where the guard should be on the outlet pass, now we got to have people running the floor the right way. The ball has to be pushed up the floor. It shouldn't be too many dribbles to get the ball to the basket. Well, the same thing in offense. It shouldn't be a whole bunch of plays to get the ball into the end zone, but we have to have that first down play that gets the ball started, that positive play that gets the game started and gets the energy started. And once we get that, as you see, we got the moving, and we was good pretty much. All right, RPO wise, now we start talking about what do we do RPO? Well, we don't call it a run pass option. We call it a run pass opportunity. All right, because we want our quarterback to understand that even if he never pulls the ball to throw the ball, the run game of it is blocked up. We already had the run game blocked up. So the 5 to 6 in the box that we want to block up, those guys are blocked up already. All right. Now we're taking advantage of either number 6 or number 7 who wants to fit in the box. And we take advantage of that guy trying to fit by putting some type of route concept behind where he should be guarding in the secondary. All right. And so we just want opportunities. That way our quarterback doesn't have to think, all right, well, I messed up. I should have pulled and thrown. Well, no, you just missed the opportunity. And next time we just want to try to either take advantage of that opportunity or we can just keep handing the ball off and go from there pretty much, right? We do all level RPOs, first level, which is a C gap read, second level, which would be a Mike linebacker or maybe a whole player cover down D gap read guy, and then third level, which might be a D gap read or the safety, depending on if they too high and so on and so forth, pretty much. All right. So once again, why RPOs? Basically, I used to hate calling quick game and getting stuck, right? You call all hitches and they end up coming up to some type of press, and then you're stuck throwing a check down or try to throw a swing to a back on all hitches, and it's just terrible, right? So I'm like, okay, I like quick game, but I hate calling it and getting stuck with it. So I want to make sure I marry all my quick game with my run game. So that way, defensive backs, they stay out the fit. They end up running routes and guarding routes the whole game. Linebackers have to make a choice. Hey, either I'm going to fit and tackle or I'm going to stay in space and try to defend the pass. And then obviously the defensive line, they're blocked up by everything pretty much, right? So it gives us post-snap answers for the offense. It lightens the box for us. I don't like my running back running and getting hit by 5, 6, 7 guys. He should only get tackled by 2 guys, maybe 3 at the most. Because everybody else in your secondary is either running routes or trying to guard routes pretty much. It relieves the offensive line from having a heavy box, right? We see 8-man boxes, but then once we start hitting glance routes and out routes off the RPOs, them boxes starting to lighten up. And then as you saw with the tempo that we run with, you really can't put too many people down in the box either. So we keep the DBs out of the fit. We put pressure on the entire defense, the entire game, and then my quarterback becomes the point guard, and he basically learns how to distribute the ball. And then it takes the pressure off the offensive line and pass pro. So we do have a really good drop back pass game, but we only have to use it when we want to, right? First down plays, we can get you on a play action. We can drop back and throw some things. We try to stay out of third and longs, but if we have to, we can. But we want to dictate when we drop back past the ball, so you don't get funny with us with all these blitzes and try to get exotic and stuff like that against us on the offensive line. At the high school level, we don't want to teach our offensive line all of that. We want to teach them enough so they can protect and then also protect them through the RPO game pretty much. All right, so our RPO run game, we throw RPOs pretty much off of everything. We run tight zone, which for us is like veer, right? Not inside zone where we're going off the guard. We're going left butt cheek, right butt cheek of the center, like really true veer pretty much, right? We run power. We run it with the tight end in. We run it without the tight end. If you're even front, we'll read the 5 technique. We run outside zone, which outside zone for us is aiming point, the ghost inside foot of the tight end or outside foot of the tackle pretty much. And then we run it more like stretch. And then we'll run it off a GT counter, GY counter. And then even this year, we've done a little dart with the RPO game pretty much, right? Usually when you get GY counter and GT counter and power, you'll get your inside linebackers to move. So now you start talking about stick routes, glance routes, looky routes, and stuff like that. And then when you're talking about running off an outside zone, you're talking about slants, you're talking about out routes. We even run double posts off the RPO, off the outside zone. And then, of course, tight zone, you can run pretty much anything you want with tight zone. You just have to formation it up and manipulate them the correct way. All right, so once again, we talk about first level, second level, and third level reads and who we read at that point in time. All right, so here we go. We get in to a formation, which is what we call a 2-by-1 formation. It's a 3-by-4-1 formation with a tight end tight. All right. And we're running tight zone to the right. Once again, it's like veer, right? So we got a backside C gap cut off by the Y. Now, pre-snap, we're going to look at the leverage of the corner and say, all right, can we take the gift, right? Can we just stand up and throw that out route and start to drive off? All right. If the corner doesn't allow us to stand up and take it, all right, good. Now we snap the ball. All right. We identify who our read key is. Right here, this defense is an odd front defense. They cover 0 on the back end, pretty much like to keep all 4 linebackers into the fit. So we're going to read him. All right. Then we're going to throw off of him off the tight zone pretty much. And on this particular play, we actually have 2 options where if the quarterback sees the outside linebacker fit, but 7 kind of stays back and 5 plays hard inside technique, he still can pull and throw to the Z on a fin cut inside the tight end, inside the slant route or the glance route that we run from the number 2. All right. So we kind of start off. This is like our bread and butter where we start off at here. All right. We'll show it here. All right. You see the same formation. Our top receiver pre-snap. We saying, all right, can we throw that? All right. We get our read key out here. They're giving us 1 high, so we gave us a really simple read key. Ball in. We bang the glance right. All right, that's a drive starter. We should be up. Be ready to go. Start our next play. All right, we get a little tight view here. Early in the season, we definitely wanted our back to continue to carry out the fakes more. So we can hold a guy. Just point catch. All right, we get it here again. Now we got the tight end opposite. So we're in a 2-by-2. Now we're going to run the same play, tight zone, but we're going to split the tight end. And usually when we split the tight end, we understand we get a fit from the guy where he's split in 2, right? Usually when they see that tackle go down, that defensive end, he'll try to squeeze and make you log. And then that outside linebacker generally steps up as well, pretty much. I'll do it both from pistol and from side car. I like pistol a lot more because it goes with all our run game pretty much, and it doesn't give our linebackers a key where they might have an automatic fit and scrape off the quarterback. So they kind of got to stay home a little bit when they see pistol because they don't know which side the ball is going to go to until the ball is actually snapped. So same thing here. We're reading that cover down. He steps up. We put the ball right behind their head pretty much. All right, same thing here. All right, now we keep the tight end front side, and now we take the zone back to the opposite side. It's the same route concept, but now we're returning the quarterback to the out route. All right, so we come back and back it up some more pretty much. All right, 2 by 1. We're going to keep the tight end front side because we want that linebacker to fit. Now we RPOing off the corner, right? All right, corner backs up, gives us the out route. All right, now we off the running. We'll play that through again. Linebacker steps up to the run fit, sees ball, corner backs up, gives us an easy throw and catch. All right, you see the quarterback sit there and ride and decide. Easy throw and catch. All right, so same thing here. All right, now we still back in that 3 by 1. Now here we pretty much had a back going to the side of the throw. So instead of RPOing it, the quarterback tells the back, "Hey, easy," because I'm just gonna stand up and throw this thing out to the out route. We see the corner is 7 yards off. All right. So back pauses, throw and catch to the outside. All right, so our next, we've run a glance. So our number 2 receiver in the slot is running a 5-step glance. Now we take the number 2 receiver and run him on the out. We take the outside receiver, run him on the go, a simply out and go concept pretty much. All right, and pre-snap, we got a slant. All right, so we're sitting here looking. All right, if we got the slant, we just snap the ball, throw the slant pre-snap. Post-snap, we want to read the whole player to cover down, put the ball in his stomach. If he doesn't expand with the out route, right? So our rule on this is we're looking at the outside linebacker and we're looking at the corner. All right. So I tell my quarterbacks, if the corner's in press, we're reading the corner because obviously it's a go and an out route. So if this is regular drop back game and we're just throwing the out route, one step out route, we're going to read the corner, right? So corner 7 yards off, pretty much backers tight to the box, we read the corner. If backers head up over the number 2 receiver, now we're going to read the number 2 receiver because we know now the backer's going to expand and the corner is not going to fall off pretty much. And then obviously we go by the 2 high rules as well. If it's 1 high, we pretty much know where we're going. If it's 2 high, we know they can play some type of cover 2 shell or palm or something like that. But once again, by being an RPO, we don't have to be confused about it because if they do something that doesn't look right to us, that stimulus doesn't look right, our response is to make sure that we hand the ball off because we got everything blocked up anyway. So here we got a low corner. All right, the backer's tight to the box, so they're in a 4-2-5 with the nickel to the field. The safety is responsible for number 2. All right, we rep this all week in practice. We understood what it was. This is what we call stimulus and response. All right, he backs up. The corner's low, so I'm keying the corner, right? I put the ball in the running back's stomach. If that corner falls off on number 2 going out, I know I can throw the out route. If that corner goes with the go route, I know I can throw the out route, and I'm good. So once again, corner falls off number 2, I throw the go route. Corner runs with number 1, I can throw the out route to number 2, or I just simply hand the ball off. All right. And so we're not talking about, hey, every RPO has to be a big explosive play and they have to score touchdowns. No, they just have to keep the defense honest, right? We throw enough of these things out here pretty much. Now the defense is playing a half step slow because they think we're running the ball, but the ball's coming up and being thrown out pretty much, right? So if we get them playing a half step slow, then we're fine. All right. So the good thing about RPOs, like I said earlier in the podcast, that your defensive backs, I want your defensive backs covering routes every single play. I don't want your defensive backs tackling. I want them covering routes. And when they make a mistake and want to come up and fit or be confused on where to fit, we should be able to pull the ball and throw the ball behind our head. All right. So here we go into a stack formation. All right. We're running vert swaps. All right. And then we're just running an inside zone where we're locking the backside guy pretty much. So it's just tight zone with a lock on the backside. If we see the guy diving in, reading the safety, we can throw it. If not, we hand it off. But as you watch this play, you will see the effect that it has on the defense. There's no fitter. Right? So, yes, we got our back. He was a Gatorade Player of the Year, he's Newsweek National Player of the Year. He's everything, right? But these two receivers take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys out of the play and then let our back do his thing. And now they touching this guy 10, 15, 20 yards down the road. And then you add that with tempo. Now you got a defense that really don't know what's going on pretty much. All right. So here we get into some of our basic stuff. This is 2x2. This is just tight zone, same run fit that we just had last time where we locked the backside in. All right. But now when we just call regular tight zone, now we have a bubble on one side of the field and we have a spot on the other side of the field. So on the right-hand side, you have a spot route where he'll go out and block for the number one. Over here, we had a bubble, and we're just playing a leverage game. Our quarterback is seeing this guy tight to the box. He knows he can block him. We just stand up and we just throw the bubble. It's tight zone everybody else. Stand up, throw the bubble, right? It's a 4 or 5 yard gain to everybody else, but to us, it starts our drive, and we're able to get our tempo going and able to get moving, and it makes the defense play a half a step slow. Now we give you a 3x1, same thing, tight zone. Now we just give you some type of play right here on the cover down, whether it's snag or whether it's some type of crossing route coming down pretty much. All right, we're going to read this linebacker here. He's going to fit. We're going to put a stick route right behind his head pretty much. Sorry about that. So once again, we get here. So if we run our regular stick concept, number 3 runs here, number 2 runs a out, number 1 runs a go. Then we run our stick switch concept. Now number 2 fits in, number 3 pushes out, number 1 runs a go pretty much, right? We met backer, he steps up, we put a guy right behind his head, right? First down. Now we got the ball inside the 5. We up on the ball tempo, ready to score. All right. So once again, still with the premise of we running with tempo, we running tight zone. We want all your defensive backs covering routes and not into the run fit. All right. This team gave us a box where they put guys outside. They gave us 4 up front. They gave us 2 linebackers. And so we just knew that this safety was going to be one-on-one with our back every single play. And he couldn't make a play. All right. So watch our guys, what they do on the outside to remove guys from the fit and give us a running lane. We run a quick bubble. All right, we'll run that back again.
Coach, can you click the settings on your huddle right there and click audio off? Or the little gear over the right. And then the audio. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you. All right, so simple. Once again, bunch set, 3x1. All right, they're going to be in man. It's 2nd and 14. We get a simple tight zone, untouched running back, because everybody's worried about the pass on the perimeter. Now everybody on the inside has to be responsible for one guy. And I'll take my guy in that scheme against him every single time. All right, so now we start to switch up the run front. So we was tight zone, tight zone, tight zone. Now the run picture down is power, right? So once again, we keep the same RPOs on the outside for power because now our key changes a little bit because now we know it's not the D-gap player that's going to fit. It's the linebacker that's going to fit pretty much. So we can put any quick game that we want with any run fit. We just figure out what that team does and what they do really well on defense, and then we match that run fit and that run game with that RPO that week that's going to take advantage of what they do really well, pretty much. All right. So this is just our power run game with the glance behind the power run game. All right. So I put on here because this is what we talk about, run pass opportunity, right? So now here we see where our linebacker is. We knew that since they played one single high on the back, that this would be the guy that we read, the safety, will be the guy that we key pretty much. We knew that the linebackers would be blocked up with the power run fit, and so we're going to read the safety. We knew they're going to be man-to-man. This is what we talk about, run pass opportunity. All right. We take the first key here. We saw he was low. All right. So once we saw he was low, the key went immediately to the backside safety for the Q. All right. This Q kept his eyes on the low guy. All right, so here you see it. We hand the ball off, right? But we talk about opportunities. They had a +1, which was the safety. That's the guy we should have been throwing off of. All right, we missed the opportunity here. We get here, we get what we want. That ball should have been pulled, and we should have had the ball thrown right here in front of the umpire, and we should have scored on the backside of it. We end up handing the ball off. We lose 3 yards. We end up getting a holding call, right? So this is what we talk about, run pass opportunities. And this is kind of the stuff that, you got to have early in the season. This was the second game of the season. That this is the data that you need for your Q to understand that, okay, these stimulus and responses, I really got to be keyed on these stimulus and responses. All right. We couldn't take care of the extra fitter. We were supposed to take care of it with the glance. All right. We get in the same scenario here. Now we know. All right, they give us one high. He's not tight to the box, so we know we're reading the cover down. We know this guy's going to have to fit. He fits. Now we drop the ball in right behind his head, and we off, and we got a gain. Now we're ready to go. So same as early off the tight zone, we just got to figure out what can we run to make your guys trigger. All right. So same thing here. We talked about earlier. Teams be used to us running this number 2 in on the glance route. They get their safety in on a hard inside leverage. All right. We know he's hard inside leverage. He's tight to the box. We know he's off. We're running power away from the tight end, which breaks our tendency pretty much. So now he has to fit, and now this guy has to fit. So that leaves us with our one-on-ones on the outside. We get the ball in there. Safety does not trigger. It's throw and catch for the Q. We get 7 yards on first down. We're ready to roll. We'll push that through again. All right, so now you saw us run power away from the tight end, take advantage of the out route. Now we're going to go, all right, what makes you guys fit when we run power to the tight end? All right, we have an extra blocker there. Who you have to fit with? We know the Mike is going to fit and step down because the guard is blocking down. So his automatic rule is when he see guard block down, he has to fill. So our backside guard is coming around the front. And so now you have to fill with your boundary safety. And so what we do is we take a number 1 receiver and run a glance route right behind your boundary safety pretty much, right? So if he wants to fit into the run because he sees power, then fine, we'll go ahead and throw the glance route. If he wants to stay high, then we'll go ahead and hand the ball off and take advantage of you not having an extra fitter in the box. So you see here, we got the guy identified. That's the boundary safety. Now our receiver knows I got to win on the glance route. He steps up, quarterback pulls. We get an easy completion. We 17 yards down the field. The drive is off and going. And you see we're ready for tempo, ready to go. All right, same thing. We know goal line. We're going to get a lot of man inside the 20, inside the 15. We're going to get a lot of man. So the same exact thing is candy here pretty much, right? It's candy. I'm going to run power to the tight end. I'm going to have that safety that's back there by itself fit because he sees run. I'm going to have our receiver win off the press. Right? So you figure now when teams see this, obviously when you get down there now, they have to play some type of cover 2 and keep this safety high, which gives us one less man out the box. And we still probably end up scoring off the handoff. It's blocked up. All right, same thing here. All right, once again, trying to break tendency. Teams start overloading and saying, okay, the guys like to run power to the tight end. So we just lock the backside, run power away from the tight end. Same thing. Now we're going to run glance from the boundary pretty much. Where's your fitter at? All right, this is your fitter. Flip, turn, give us an easy sighting to the receiver. We got a first down. We off and running. All right, so now we get into some of our dart stuff pretty much, or counter stuff. Same thing. All I'm looking to do is I want to know the rules of your defense. When I pull my guard, who fits, who's the extra fitter, how can I throw off of him, how can I give ourselves an opportunity or relief off of that guy. If I pull guard and tackle, who comes in, who fits, who can I influence, right? So a lot of times you saw a lot of backside throws, and then you also saw some front side throws pretty much where because I want to run the ball to you. I want your outside linebacker to have to fit because he's seen tackle block down, and now his responsibility is to fit. And then I want to put stress on that safety and put some type of route in front of him pretty much, right? So here's just most of our counter game where we get a chance to just have different defenders move and get out of place or do their responsibility. And then it's my job to find a route that takes advantage of those guys doing their job. All right, here, kind of the same thing. Now I'm going to run a counter right to the front side, to the field side, and I'm going to put my receiver on the out route to the field side. All right, so it's just plain dart. All right, we get the backside tackle, pull into the front side. We want you to fit off the backside tackle, pull into the front side, and then we want to take advantage of you leaving us to the out route to the field pretty much. All right, you see the safety responsible for number 2. Outside linebackers moved up. We put the back on that side, protect the backside with the tight end. All right, here, same thing. We take it for the glance with number 1 off a counter. All right, so we get an odd front team. And so anytime we had an odd front team, especially this team that had a lot of speed, anytime we move guard and tackle to the tight end, the boundary backer always had to fit pretty much. They had no other way to defend it. So he always had to fit. All right. So then that left the backside safety on number 2 having to stay high to the field. He could never come down and close to the field. So we would go ahead and run counter to the boundary, step out, throw the bubble to the field, and split the defense in half and make half the defense play on one side of the field pretty much. All right. We'll show that again. Take a counter back to the field, throwing the bubble away from it. All right. And the good thing about this is a play caller, it gives me an idea of what you do to the boundary. So I knew that when we snapped the ball, we was going to get something push from the boundary pretty much. Right. We knew that even if we handed the ball off, we had guard for him. We had tackle wrapping around for this front side guy. We had the tight end smashing down on the backer. So even on the handoff, we had what we needed, but we also want to make you run as a defense and make you think as a defense pretty much. Right. So we're going to use every inch of the field to make you play defense. All right. So same thing. We got any type of GY counter, and we just figure out what RPO is going to be best for you this week pretty much. All right, so same thing here. We're taking the going out. We knew they was in man coverage a lot, so now we're going to take the counter away. We're going to run the out route, take the candidate they give us pretty much. Most of the teams, they say, hey, the way you stop RPOs, if you play man to man, and if you play man against us, you can hang it up. We was going to throw for 400 and probably run for 400 on you pretty much. I think this game, our running back ran for 340 yards, and we end up throwing for another 260 yards or something this game because you just you got to have extra fitters pretty much, right? So same thing here. This is the influence of it, all right? Pre-snap, we know we're reading the corner. That means we're throwing some type of out route. All right. Post snap, we're going to read the boundary. Now, we're going to do a same side counter on this play pretty much. And the way we run our routes and the way we RPO so much, we're going to pull everybody out the box. So it's the same side counter for the Y. He's bluffing, coming back around. We crease it, and we get a good play out of it. Right? This is early in the game where we ran a glance route off of this boundary safety here pretty much, right? So now in this safety, we move 3 people with this play. He's the fitter here. He should be here fitting, right? He has to guard the route. We take the space he leaves open for us. All right, we come back. Now we have a Y on the opposite side. He's actually on the line. We're going GY counter with him on the line. Once again, taking away some tendencies again. We're going to run an out route and a go route to the field. So we'll affect this guy, right? He shouldn't be able to fit. One of these guys either has to take the route or has to fit. We crease it. Safety in the middle of the field is gone. We crease it up the middle of the field. All right, so then we start talking about outside zone. There's 2 ways that we run RPOs. We'll either we always have a pre-snap read where we can just throw a bubble and run zone opposite of throwing a bubble. Post-snap, we'll run it, and then we'll give us a glance into it or give us a glance away from it. But just once again, just changing up the run pictures for the defense, but giving our RPOs some of the same looks, are taking advantage of the same areas on the field pretty much. So here we go, sidecar. All right. We bring him across in wide zone. We're reading this guy, just throwing a simple flat route out to a guy in space. Bad job of reading the block, but once again, you see how it just separates the defense, and now the defense has to play half chasing the ball one way, half chasing the ball the next way. All right, same thing. We're running outside zone to the boundary here. We see space up top. Linebackers gets nosy. We throw it out. Boom. We get the first down on the 2nd and 4. First down. We get the ball left hash. We should be ready to go and ready to play. All right, same thing here. Going back, running zone to the boundary. Outside zone to the boundary to the right. We see we got leverage numbers up front. All right. So now we know pre-snap. All right. I got 3-on-2 to the field. I can just step back, throw the bubble out there. Another 8-9 yard gain. Energy in the offense is going. This is all with tempo. We should ready to go. All right. Same thing here. Now we give you zone. We know man-to-man once again inside the 20-yard line, 15. We sneak in a little pop pass, give you outside zone from sidecar, get everybody moving to the boundary. Read the backside backer, sneak in a little pop pass down the middle of the field. Once again, the key for us always is finding a run fit that your team triggers off of, finding that run that you feel comfortable with your defense, that this is the play that we love to stop, and then you committing everything you can to stopping that play, and then me finding an RPO, a pass concept off of it to make sure I can take advantage of your best defense against my best run play, and then get you to adjusting. And then once again, when we add tempo to it, it gives us something really special, pretty much. It gives us 8,500 yards worth of offense this year. So that's it that I have for what we do RPO wise, what we do tempo wise. We're hashtag Roar Pass. And Coach Randall, my head coach, I appreciate him for allowing me to be a part of the program, allow me to install the offense and be a part of something special. Having the number one back in the nation helps out a lot, pretty much. He's a generational talent. The kid is very special. Landon Williams-Callis, my coaching staff, Coach Pick, Coach Towery, Coach Veen, Coach Wash, Coach Mendez, they all do a tremendous job with our athletes, making sure those guys are prepared each and every week, making sure that they are part of the game plan and they understand the game plan. And when you have a staff that's ego-free like that, this is what you get.
No doubt. Well, Coach, if you want to go ahead and stop sharing up at the top, there we go. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on. I have notes. I've just been writing down stuff, and
Yeah.
I absolutely love RPO and tempo stuff. So I appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us.
I appreciate you having me, man. I know we've been trying to get it on for a minute, man. And man, I love what you're doing for the coaching community. Love what you're doing for all the coaches out there and players too, right? What you do at your school, and the heart that you do it with, man. And you know, I haven't met you personally, but just following you and talking to you, and then getting the chance to meet and talk with you now, man. I mean, it's special, man. And I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm happy to support it, be a part of it, man. And definitely anything you need from us here down in Texas, man, just let me know, and we'll make sure we get it for you.
For sure. If we're ever down in the Houston area, I definitely have to hit you up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, we'll stay on after this, and I'll be right back. All right.
Right.
Guys, that's Coach PJ Wilson, man. Freaking baller in the coaching community, man. Just killing it down there in Texas, man. Y'all would go drop him a follow, man. He'll definitely hit you back if you want to talk about anything like that offensively. And then for me, guys, I appreciate all our sponsors, Coaching Share, Dome Hats, First Down Playbook, for allowing us to do this stuff. But until the next video, I'm Coach Ian Tatum. Make sure you're coaching for the kids. Live your purpose. Let's score some points in the defense. See y'all in the next episode.